Hello. A bit different from Hey There Sports Fans, but that's because I'm with Lee.
Hi guys.
And we are on the EU server Kilrogg. Unsurprisingly on the Horde side, because we have Horde characters. And I'm just looking at the Void Caller behind you, who's rather big for a 1-3.
Isn't that a Void Terror?
Is it a Void Terror? What do the Void Callers look like then, the 1-3s with taunts?
It's the ones you start off with, the little tiny one.
Oh, okay, so because he's got armor on his shoulders, he's a Void Terror, right?
I think so.
He's like, yeah, you can wear some armor, now you're a bit tougher. So how many Silver Hand recruits can he beat up, do you think?
I don't know, 30, 40? You can tank 5-mans. Well, you used to be able to anyway for a while.
It's because they don't take AoE damage, isn't it? It makes a huge difference. Anyway, interesting patch, would you say, a couple of days ago?
Yeah, very interesting. Got lots of new toys to play with.
So while we're going to go through the quest chain here, which is we're in the Blasted Lands and lots of orcs are piling through the gates in sort of anticipation for the expansion in a month's time. But we're going to do this. I guess they did this little quest chain to try and make people purchase the expansion, right? They went,
here's new stuff. Come and see it. It's shiny.
Mm-hmm. And if they make it good enough,
the other thing is
people buy.
They're looking at this is like extended beta testing for them as well to see how the abilities work live.
So we're going to do. They've got like half a 5-man dungeon with Blackrock Spire, which those of us who played 10 years ago will remember when it was like a 20-man or whatever it was, maybe even a 40-man.
I think it was 40 back then, wasn't it?
But we're going to play through this, and basically, if you want to sort of play with us come the expansion, like I said, we're on the EU server. Kilrogg on the Horde side, just make a character. Like my character's name, imaginatively enough, is Ribbo, and Shock Horror, I'm playing a paladin. And you just send an in-game mail, and like when we get a guild up and running, we'll add you all to that. But we got like 3 more, so you got 3 weeks or something to level your character up. I'm sure you can get from 1 to 90 in that time, right?
Well, if you buy the expansion, you get the boost, and then you get loaded in directly here, I think, now. They're chucking all the new recruits at the content. It's like, deal with this. This is not representative of starter gear, by any means.
It's not what you're going to get, right? Okay. You got to beat these guys up here, the Iron March Grunts.
Sure.
They actually do a nasty stun when they charge at you.
No, they don't.
Pretty sneaky. There's another one behind you. Oh.
I've not even used it. Well, I used Dragon Roar, but that's just me auto-attacking.
I'll just run behind you and loot everything.
I need to get that GIF for that.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Other people won't. So you've done a couple of, I think you would say, fun days raiding, haven't you, of the existing content in its now new easy mode?
It's definitely an easy mode. I don't know whether it's going down to like 20 players and us losing some weight that we were carrying.
It makes sense. I mean, if you go from 25 to 20 players, your worst 5 players probably don't get to play.
Yeah.
Or your worst 5 players who aren't friends with the DM.
Our officers looked at attendance and things like that as well.
Was that all the quests? Have you not clicked on the... did you pick up more than one quest there? You should have picked up...
it was smash the siege things and then kill
the
guys.
Oh, you did all of that? You clicked on the 3 siege cannons. Wow.
I'm a little bit overgeared.
Fight with honor.
So, let's start on the Wednesday. You have the patch, and did everyone immediately gem up properly, or...?
Most of the people did. Some people forgot about the profession stuff, because you've lost a lot of your profession on the boost stuff, like engineering's lost a lot of its kick, and dual crafting gems are the same as normal gems and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. But there was a couple of errors, wasn't there? A couple of bugs. Druids had a bit of a problem.
Yeah, a couple of our
This
decent
is a
DPS
savage
couldn't
land.
apply one of the main dots. So
This is called Rake, right?
I think it's Rake or Rip, one of the two.
Which is an opener
Yeah.
for their combos.
So they didn't always get an opener, which meant they were behind, and then they were like flapping at things. Is that the quest line?
You just pick up all the quests here, every single one. So they just really struggled on DPS because of that. Now there was another couple of interesting bugs briefly because they hadn't scaled back a lot of the old items.
Yeah, like the legend, like Shadow Mom was still giving you the strength proc, and
So what was the strength proc?
I think it was something like 500 strength or something. And considering I'm in mythic gear and I've got 1,700, that's a lot of strength. And like the old Warglaives, they give you like 500 haste, and a lot of the rogues are only just about hitting 400. So I mean that was, the weapon DPS was lower, but it was still pushing people. People were trying Thunder Fury as well for that proc and stuff like that. And one of the best tanking trinkets for monks and druids was the old Badge of Tenacity. I don't remember, you remember?
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I do. Yeah.
From the Ogre dailies in Ogrelar, because it has 200 bonus armor and there's not really much more you know,
And
there's
they
not a lot of
forgot
gear
to
with bonus
nerf all
armor.
that. Yeah, that seems pretty funny. But they hot fixed it a day later. Yeah.
Yeah, a day later they fixed it. I was expecting to be doing a lot less DPS as well, but apparently not.
So you've seen a couple of days of raiding. What's stronger? What's weaker? Do you think? Like, what was the old? I guess 1 to 10 for DPS. Like, what do you consider to be the best to worst in DPS?
Well, our top was always like Warlocks, Hunters, then like Mage, Warrior, like around the same
Which is
point.
strange, because like rogues could
Oh, sorry.
only ever DPS.
And rogues were up there as well. I just always forget about them.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about them, but yeah, like because they can only ever DPS, you would think that they have to make them good, or else the class never gets played.
Like I think Warriors were the bottom of the top 5.
Okay, and then bottom of the 5 would be what? Pally at the bottom.
No, Shadow Priest.
Okay,
Like Shadow Priest,
worst, yeah.
probably. Thing is, everyone was putting out similar-ish numbers. It was just like
yeah.
Warlocks were ridiculous. Rogues, now I've remembered they exist, were pretty good. And then everything else was just a bit below them. Certain fights favour certain things. Like on Garrosh, I was frequently coming second. I mean, Feral deserves a big mention as well.
Okay, so now Wednesday happens. What's the new your personal opinion from seeing what people are churning out?
Well, I'm
Sort of-
super happy because Warriors are utterly ridiculous. Like, on AoE fights, I'm double the nearest person. Like,
In
I think I
damage.
had one mage keeping up with me in one fight, on an AoE fight. And, yeah, just utterly crazy. And then it's the mages.
Rotar, Commander.
And then, what was below the mages? And then it was the rogues. Combat was the best performing out of the rogues because we've got, like, infinite rogues in the guild, so they all have different specs. The mages were fire. We didn't have a warlock in the raid because our good warlock couldn't fix his UI in time, and our bad warlock was bad and turned up late.
Naturally.
The hunter was the biggest change. They're just beating the tank, and like tanks have no DPS now. Like there's none of this stupid 10 mil shield.
So it wasn't like an error with the mod because it wasn't counting the pet or something like that.
This
No,
land
they're
was
just terrible.
nothing.
Yeah.
And Ferals, because they were bugged, are just
Yes.
On our enemy.
11th out of 10. Yeah. Like,
And then, like,
they
Mist-
come after
we have
people's pets.
like 2 or 3 really good Mistweaver monks as well.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm gonna add Craig to the call here because he's been doing a bit of... Hi, Craig.
Evening, ladies.
We're just recording video at the moment, so you're going to be joining us for this. We're just talking about raiding because, of course, like Lee's done a couple of days raid with the patch.
Yeah.
And you would have done the same. And Lee was saying how Shadow Priest used to be the worst class for DPS. And I know you play Shadow Priest.
I do indeed.
So, how are you doing now?
Well, pre-patch, normal modes, yeah, they're horrible. Single target fights of any kind, Shadow was just horrible. The advantage in heroic modes were that most encounters had some form of add or additional mobs, which is where Shadow Priest at least elevates itself from mediocre to average. If the number of adds increases dramatically, we go from average to superb. So for that particular encounter, for the first two encounters, the Mercius, an amazing number of adds, was usually the best fight for Shadow Priests, and we were usually within the first one or two on the meters.
Didn't the adds have like 2 health though?
Exactly, yeah, but the mindset is the one, because the tank is grabbing them and dragging them all over the place, the mindset enabled the Shadow Priest to target the tank, kill all the mobs, along with Halo, before everyone else could touch them. So you kind of do 60% of your damage on the adds, which or as an encounter is meaningless. But if you're trying to haul the meters, then that's
it looks
where your
good.
damage comes. It looks great, yeah. So on those two encounters on heroic, fantastic. On the rest, we were average. Me, I outgeared most of the stuff, and I was raiding with guys on a similar level. So most Shadow Priests, if they know what they're doing, we're kind of middle level of the meters. But I used to raid with like 5 Warlocks who dominate the top 5 spots of 90% of the fights.
Last 2 days, have you raided at all since the...
I have indeed raided both nights.
Awesome.
Easy mode?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing is they've nerfed damage, they've left health artificially high. The end result is even the worst standing fire guy can survive and kill a boss.
We got rid of our standing fire guys.
Yeah, well, we had a few left in my current guild, as I normally raid with. Everything just dies in half the time, mainly because you still got most of the raid up for most of the,
We killed Siegecrafter in 3 minutes 40.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a long kill by all accounts. And how many wipes did you have on Siegecraft previously? Before you got it on farm?
About 90.
Yeah, most people now, even on Garrosh, most people now are turning up on their first night, getting him to the last phase, with little or no effort.
Yeah.
Because that encounter, if you can nuke it down, you can bypass so many mechanics. The whole fight is very
We completely skipped phase 3.
Yeah, and
Also, we actually took a reading and we were 30% ahead of where we used to be at like certain breakpoints. And with the ads not casting in Jade Temple now, and Warrior AoE being so strong, it's just a joke.
The thing is, and this is...
I mean, we died twice, I think, to the Iron Star and Bombardment and Malice mechanics, because like a couple of people in the red, even me, I haven't seen that phase yet.
I think they should have just put on the new, the new trinket you get from the intro quests. They should have just stuck on there, this trinket causes Siege Rock'n'More to be nerfed by 40%, because that's about what it is, yeah. Put this trinket on, Siege Rock'n'More is nerfed, and that's because that's what they've done. They haven't said so, but that's exactly what they've done.
And how ridiculously easy is Paragons now?
Well, I mean, it was only hard before, because the bosses, the longer the bosses were up, the fight became...
They've got 3 million health, and you're like...
Now you blink, and you've missed one. Yeah.
So we seriously considered AoEing all 3 bosses down at once.
And it's a fine line of seeing content versus when you're certainly on heroic raiding, there's an achievement for doing it. That part of the sense is defeating an encounter, and making it a little bit easier is good. Making it a walkover is bad. Their only redeeming feature they've got now is they've got new content on the way that they're just thinking, right, everyone...
They can balance it for the new content.
Yeah, well, this is it. It's not balanced at the moment. Everyone, hunters are going, it's the end of the world, what we're going to do,
so you've come to the same conclusion that hunters are terrible?
Thing was, hunters have had a nice niche recently because they were critical for certain fights, and I think, in the next expansion, there's going to be a lot of mobile fights that are good for melee, because melee have had a bad time of it recently, and are going to be really bad for casters. And the hunter stands in that best of both camps, in that it's a highly mobile, in effect, caster. So I think they've perhaps nerfed their damage in a view that when the next expansion comes down, they'll be able to dodge stuff and still maintain a reasonable level of damage.
They have said they're going to buff pet damage as well.
Have you found the little thing on the table you meant to click, Lee?
No.
He's struggling
I was
there.
waiting for the mob to respawn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go on.
so
I've not done quests for a while.
yeah, and in terms of Shadow, to me it almost feels a complete reverse. Shadow seems incredibly strong now, single target, and it seems average on multi-fights, but Mindseer at the moment is absolutely horrible. Previously, Mindseer benefited from mastery, so it will be doing 60, 70,000 damage, a second for every single mob you're targeting. So it ramped up, and now it's kind of 1,000 or 2,000 damage, and it's very low, far lower than it should be. But the multi-dotting, is quite high for fights that favour multi-dotting, and single target is much higher than it used to be. But I wouldn't say they're overpowered at the moment. It doesn't feel overpowered. It feels just as though I don't have to fight.
Overpowered.
Yeah, Warriors. So, I mean, I was on a Mercius, and normally I pull like 6. Right, numbers are irrelevant now because obviously that. But previously I'd pull 600 or 700k, and the nearest warrior might be 200,000 or 300,000 behind me. Suddenly he was like the equivalent of 200,000 or 300,000 ahead of me.
I was doing literal double everyone else's damage apart from like maybe one or two mages.
Yeah. But then, like I said, I was having a chat with the rest of the guys going, "Oh, this is great." Going, now and the next 4 weeks are utterly irrelevant to wherever you are. It doesn't matter.
I was like saying to the guys, I'm so happy, but I'm so sad because I'm going to lose it all.
Yeah. If you're in a good place now, enjoy it. If you're in a bad place now, go and play an alt. Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's the first time I've raided and felt like I've been enjoying it, because I was used to, when I was raiding in TBC and all that stuff, I was always really pushing people, at the top of the meters, but I came in a little bit late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get the action upstairs.
That's smart.
So, I mean, also the problem with that, because I was hoping that in this patch they'd correct everything, so that, because I was trying to get a raid group together and start getting them trained up for the next, for the next expansion. Whereas the reality of it was certain people who were average now but are playing the current overpowered one. They're going like, I'm really good, and I go, no, this has been made so easy now. I was hoping that it's still a reasonable level that I could carry on training, some of the raiders, in preparation for, 2 or 3 months' time. But it's like, it's so easy. So, anyway.
Possibly upstairs, then? Have you?
There's one, I don't actually, it's going to be different for you guys. You're doing Alliance Quest, aren't you?
Oh, maybe
one in a building and two
outside.
outside.
Why would I be Alliance? Stop insulting me.
Maybe in the basement? I can't remember. I just got it quite easily. It's roof 4 basement then, I guess.
See, I'd move over to you guys if you had any people on your server, but you don't.
No, Kilrogg's pretty dead.
Down here? No? In the basement?
Could be. Might even be outside. I don't know.
Yeah, probably outside, to be honest.
I've not done these, like I said.
Tell you one of the new things I do like that they've done is how they've reworked the balance druids. That's quite nice now.
You have to explain it to Boomer.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Boomer spent all his time working out how to play Balanced Druid.
I'm going to say, if he spent any time learning how to play it before it's just changed, it's...
Yeah, that's Boomer for you, that's what he does. He only does old content, he doesn't do things that are new.
I mean, it was nice getting my early off Gary, but the thing is, we were pretty close to a Gary kill anyway. Sorry, Garrosh kill. People not know him as Gary. We were pretty close anyway, and it was... If it wasn't for us like having people get ill and real life happening to a few of our core raiders that had to leave and then to re-gear people up.
And it is a fight where you need to get 25 people trained, because you need certain teams. Even like you said there on the first set of mission ads, of making sure you've got AO interrupts, AOE stuns. You've got a right composition of a raid to get through that, and then high enough DPS.
Tell you what I've realised. My raids really slack at interrupting because they used to me running in and disrupting shouting with the other two warriors. So many more spells was going off this week.
The horde has important work here.
Yeah, but this is what scared me. Like I said, when you've got to a point in an expansion now where you horribly overgear it. You've done most of these encounters so many times you don't even have to think about it. Yet to come to another set of heroic raiding where you haven't got 20 more item levels than you should have on when you first start an encounter.
I'm really looking forward to it. I might even end up tanking in this expansion.
We have to stop talking for a minute because Lee's fighting the Dreadmaul ogres.
Yay.
They have one of the great little quotes when they go to fight, don't they? They go, "Aha!" when they spot you and run at you. I just love that. It always cracks me up.
And then the ground pounds as they run towards you.
And of course, they're fighting with the Snickerfangs. Do you remember the old buff the Snickerfangs gave? They used to give like that plus 500 of something temporarily.
I can't remember. I remember the original Blasted Land. I remember the only feature of that land was you used to go and farm all the different things, didn't you, to
That's
get
right, yeah.
a temporary buff. There was that, and there was something to do with Dranomist or something, crystals. There was practically nothing to do there apart from that demon chain quest, which was quite involved.
And occasionally
I
the
really like
dragon
doing that when I'm
spawns.
leveling.
Yeah, that was it. And occasionally the dragon flew across and ate you, didn't it? Like, okay. And then, like I said, and then you'd farm for these silly buffs that you need for early day raiding.
Yeah, it was pretty miserable dead zone other than that. But yes, so, getting back to what we were talking to, do you think you're going to have 20 people happy come the expansion, or...?
No,
I don't think you can ever get 20 people happy, can you? And the thing is, you've got those who now are in a good place, and they want to be in that good place, and I'm talking to, warlocks, disc priests, whatever else, and you've got to go, that's not how the game works. Blizzard works it off. You've had your time. Congratulations, you did really well. We didn't nerf you when we should have done. There you go. They'll now take the least played class that's had a really hard time, buff them up to some nice place.
So you're saying Shadow Priests over everything?
No, that's too fair. I mean, you say bad, but I think certain classes, Shadow, Balanced Druids, were more technical to play. You could play them average,
Well,
and you
Balanced Druids used to do loads of damage.
Yeah, but if you're good, you can do really well. But think again, we're discussing the meat. The problem is we discuss meters, and for a lot of fights, the meters are relevant. That for a lot of fights is did you down the boss? If you did, nothing else matters. If you didn't and you hit an enraged timer, yes, relevant DPS, boss DPS counts. But for like a lot of the fights, you can boom up the meters. It was like Paragons as a Shadow Priest. I could single target DPS. I could stick dots on the Paragons. I know the difference.
You
The
can
meters.
even dot the parasites.
Yeah, that's it. There's loads of things where you can artificially create DPS. It's even like one of the groups I raid with on the Galacras fight, where you've got the group downstairs AOE and you've got a group upstairs. They
Much fun.
they get 20 guys to stand by the tower and just let 5 guys AOE to see if they can get anyone on on the logs on the records or beat rankings or whatever else. So it all becomes meaningless because there are so many ways of cheating these alleged meters that it doesn't matter. You've just got to feel, when I'm in a raid group, did I contribute? Was I at the bottom? No, great, I'm fine. Was I at the top? No, never mind, try harder next week.
I try and look at it like, am I doing as much as I should be doing in my gear? That's
Yeah.
why I have meters. It's like,
Yeah,
have
and you
I
look
done
at,
something
I like
wrong?
raiding with other similar classes, so am I beating the other 2 guys basically playing a single class? Now for me, when I raided with Shadow, I was, unless it was a single target high mobility fight, I was always at least middle range. Now admittedly I had, pretty much maxed out gear, but on the fights that were good for me, on similar geared guys, I would be top. So I was happy with where I was. I felt as though I wasn't ever going to get benched for low DPS, and I felt as though I wasn't artificially overpowered. I just felt as though I brought utility to the raid, and I brought reasonable DPS and a reasonable healing cooldown. I mean, that's one of the things I'm going to miss coming to this new expansion.
Utility, that's what I'm going to miss.
Utility is completely gone. Healing's pretty much gone. I am now just a purple mage, in effect.
Purple mage that can't blow stuff up as quick.
Yeah. And that's all. I'm thinking that's not really why I chose to play Shadow Priest class. But people get to the forums and go, I'm a hybrid and I want to do as much DPS as a pure DPS. Fix me. Blizzard goes, easy. You're no longer a hybrid. Yeah. You're now a DPS. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a bit gutted we lost our banners and stuff. That was quite painful.
I mean, I was gutted in the first wave of Shadow Priest Nurse where we lost all the healing spells. I used to love the fact that as a
Could
Shadow,
off-heal.
yeah, I could drop Shadow Form for 30 seconds. I could heal as well as nearly any other healer. Yeah, I wouldn't have the mana regen, and that to me was balanced. Obviously, PvP comes into the picture, and we all get a wave of nerfs because in one aspect of the game we're unbalanced. So they'll fix
See,
that.
That's what really annoys me about WoW, is they balance around PvP.
And they should have just turned around and said, right, you enter a PvP instance, you are now fixed within this instance. When you step out and go into a PvE instance, you're not bound by the same set of rules. You know, they have the technology. They're obviously not prepared to spend the effort, so that results in...
Would you say they have the technology and they can rebuild it?
I could have said that, and they probably should rebuild it, to be fair, given how long this has been going on for. You know, was it now or in year 10?
I've been looking. I thought Ravager was not a level 100 talent, so I was really looking forward to that.
I mean, that's the other thing with Shadow, isn't it? We're completely redesigned around our level 100 talent.
All the classes are, really.
Yeah.
So God knows why I'm doing so much DPS on AoE fights. I'm going to get more.
Yeah, well, I think it's just been a little bit of a favour, perhaps, for some people. Going, look, there you go, you know. But again, like I said,
Warriors have never been bad.
No.
And even if they have, people who play Warrior just go, I'll play Warrior. That's why Blizzard hates us.
Yeah.
So, Lee's just about finishing his quest chain here. He's going to get an achievement. There we go. So we're going to sign up.
Well, I'm going to respec first, but yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do, the 5-man.
UBRS, yeah.
Just to see what
UBRS.
it's... Well, the first few fights, isn't it, you know? It's funny because, like, you complete a dungeon, then someone says, but there's more. I know there isn't.
No.
It should be funny. I'm gonna queue as tank. And yeah. We should get quite a quick queue.
I guess I should respec.
I'm hoping the heroics
some
are
healing.
tuned fairly high.
From what I've seen and what I've heard about the heroics and stuff, it's like doing shattered holes in TBC from the start.
Yeah,
You've got to chuck CC in, you've got to chuck all.
Yeah. Which is good.
Now, for those who don't understand, in Outlands days, sort of level 70 cap, you actually had to use polymorph and sap and stuff like that.
This is it. One mob was quite hard beatings for the tank, and the healer would,
Well,
spam
but this
tank,
is
keep them
trash
alive.
as well.
Yeah, this was trash.
You know, going through the halls, and you'd have, the first one would get sapped by that mob as it came out of stealth. And if it sapped the tank, it could just wipe you right there.
So good luck with that, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck.
So, they're doing a bit of hate on the casuals, despite trying to make it casual friendly.
I just think it's teaching the DPS their place, which is don't over aggro the tank. We've kind of forgotten about that nowadays, whereas olden days was DPS the tank. The tank's going to go, bye. I'm still here.
It's the old, you pull it,
late.
you tank it.
Yeah.
Are you going to sign us up then?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to respec, I didn't know what you had to do.
I'm ready to go. I have my fancy shield.
Ready? Oh, we want to actually queue up for Upper Black Rocks, why don't we?
Yep. We don't want to do a random dungeon here. So, do you reckon we'll be in instantly? Oh, shock horror.
I've not
Who
tagged
would
this before.
who would have guessed?
Yeah. Bearing in mind it drops, 550 gear. There are a few of the newly leveled guys again. Ooh.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to drag Boomer through this and record it as well.
Yeah, but obviously Boomer's going to do DPS because we can't have him doing anything important. We don't want it being a 3-hour video just to do one dungeon.
You're fine with me chain pulling, right?
Well, I guess you can try. We'll see how it works for us. You coming in there? You coming in? You still
Look at the
loading?
load screen. Look at my load screen. It is amazing.
I thought you had a new computer.
I do. Apparently, I might have
Oh, you.
issues. I may have DC'd.
I was laughing slightly with the changes on the gear upgrades as well.
I'll let everyone know.
Are now moaning about having to farm timeless, despite the fact that now it's uncapped in terms of gear upgrades for next month. People still aren't happy. I mean, I've got to go to Timeless Island and farm frogs, and now frogs is...
We did it with a Shadow Priest, a Rogue, and 3 Warriors yesterday. I got 450 in 10 minutes.
Yeah. You just literally form a group there. You just get someone to pull one half of the field, pull it, drag it to the other one, and kill them with Halo.
And it was like we'd started a new expansion, when everything spawns, it gets killed so quick it just instantly respawns again.
Yeah.
So, what was your particular reasoning for killing the frogs? Was it just to
They
get
have
exalted?
low health and they give lesser charms.
Yeah, they're an elite mob.
Oh, yeah, of course, because the lesser
what-
charms
I know
are
what it is.
now used.
That's it. 50 less
Uh-huh.
charms for a gear upgrade. So it's
I know what the problem is. It's my weak aura strings.
Gotcha.
Because I've not updated them for my prot spec. So
that's it. Now is the time to get your easy gear and upgrade it.
weak auras off. Sorry about this, guys. But yeah, if you didn't know, you can now upgrade your gear for lesser charms of good fortune. So all those charms you had lying around, I just walked up to the vendor and went, yes please, I'll have all my gear upgraded to 404.
Oh, and you made it in.
Oh well, I'm still at load screen.
Yeah, well, you're now no longer showing us disconnected. Yeah, you're in the instance now.
Cool.
It's quite a nice little gold earner as well with the rerolls. Because even if you don't get, a disenchantable epic,
Interesting.
you now get obviously your little chest, cash, whatever, with a little stash of gold. So farm frogs, farm raid instances. Until you figure out what the next gold sink is in Warlords.
So, raiding won't start instantly.
You're looking at about a week.
I think they said 3. Didn't they say 3 weeks, or is that just me? Am I imagining things wrong?
I think Mythic's the new heroic is going to unlock sooner than previously. They used to unleash wings of normal, didn't they? And then they'd unleash heroic once everyone had cleared normals.
Well, they didn't want people zooming through the content. I mean, that was the thing. They didn't want people going, okay, week 1, you all need to be raiding. So, right, rush through the content. They want people to, look at the content they've made.
Yeah.
It's not
What
gonna
was it?
happen. Like, if you've not balanced it properly, then it'll just be a case of people just
Well,
face
it's-
rolling it.
Yeah, it's still going to be raiders are still going to want to raid. They're not really particularly fussed about questing. They're going to go, right, get to level 100, get in dungeons, get gear, get ready to raid. Raid day comes, raid. And then later they'll go back and have a look at the quests.
So you've got to click on the runes in each of these little side rooms, if you remember.
I remember. We've farmed this enough. You can now block and parry while you're blade storming. And apparently you shield block as well, which is quite cool. Have I taken any damage yet?
The other people, the monk and the warlock, have been taking some damage, and the blood elf's death knight's been taking some. But they're not letting you tank, though, are they?
Well, I'm getting threat and everything. I think it's just the AoE.
You are right, Graham, about the release schedule. Raids will not open for about 2.5 weeks. Normal and heroic high maul after 2.5 weeks. Mythic and LFR high maul a week later.
But just the one raid dungeon to start you off with.
Yeah, well, we're always going to try to stretch out content as much as we can.
Some of the attacks in this dungeon. Oh, somebody's pulled! It's a wipe!
Oh, I have mocking banner. It's fine.
Hmm?
I have mocking banner. It's fine.
Okay, is that why?
It's not the same with that room full of eggs.
But this is actually gets a little bit problematic to heal up, So it makes me wonder about the expansion.
Well, healing
Wait.
is made more interesting by making it harder.
No, but it's also the fact that people won't realise it's harder, and they'll just go, "Oh, I can just do as much damage as want and be reckless because the healer will keep me up," and then you'll be like, "No."
Well, that was another aspect of this, this patch at the moment, which is all the nerfs to healing came, but obviously the healers have got a ludicrous gear level. So what actually happened was when I went on Holy as my priest, it's like, so my very fast, very expensive, large heal, flash heal, I can keep on spamming for 5 to 10 minutes without my mana, going down. Okay, so that's not going to work. So that bodes badly for later on in the next expansion where the gear levels are quite high again, that you'll be able to just spam your very expensive heals. So, but obviously initially you won't be, and that's what will hit players. They won't be used to the fact that the triage healing where you won't heal everybody the maximum, just because they've taken 10% damage, you'll actually just keep your tanks up and top the DPS off and let the DPS heal themselves.
Yeah, the DPS
They're
have
self-healing.
started to use personals again.
Yeah.
I wonder if we'll ever go back to a time where people had ever used potions. That was...
Well, you can't because they share a cooldown with your other potions now, don't they? So,
That's it. And even health stones share cooldown with potions now, don't they?
yep. I remember when I used to chew through potions in a Raid as Fury and TBC. and actually just like be like, nom 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 potions.
People are going to dig out bandages again. They're going to go, what's this cloth thing that I apply to my wounds?
I don't know where we're going. It's up this way to the left. Is it up this way to the left?
Well, you farmed this enough. You said you didn't need help.
Yeah.
It's through here.
This door, yeah. It was up here somewhere.
But general optimism, would you say?
It's going to be another WoW expansion.
Yeah. The fact is, you're going to play it. My reservation is how the difficulty of the content and therefore how quickly the content is consumed versus Blizzard's ability to provide new content. If they're just going to provide very easy, lots of, basically lots of mashed potato, there you go, consume as much as you possibly can, you're going to get bored. It doesn't matter if there's lots of it. Eventually you're going to go, you know what? This is just another zone that I can clear in a day, and great, another set of pixels I'll clear. There's got to be an element of challenge. You can have an element of, turn up, let you loot, have a bit of chill out time, but people, gradually you've got to instigate a point where suddenly it's not as easy and people got to think, put a bit more effort in. And this is the question now with Warlords. Is it simply, here's a bit more content? It's like, for instance, the garrisons. People going, in terms of new content, well, after you've quested, what is there to do? Primarily, it revolves around your garrison. So, you will log in on a day, you'll do your garrison quests, and that will potentially affect some of your quests in the real world.
I was wondering why I didn't have threat. It's because the idiot's not turned off his army that he hasn't glyphed it.
Hey.
That's Death
It's
Knights
like,
for you.
surely he's not pulling threat off me. Surely.
Just Death Knight things.
I can feel
Yeah, like Lee said there, the main thing is that having had this current raid tier for
I told you
12 months,
people aren't clicking the runes, so everyone's going to die.
not like in the olden day where you'd have the summoner in the corner just summoning more and more ads, and people would just keep on the summoned ads and leaving the summoner. And you're going, oh look, more ads.
Yeah, people aren't used to actually having to use game
stuff, yeah.
mechanics.
They're like, the healer will sort it. Or the tank will sort it.
Or we can just keep on AoEing in the middle and eventually they'll die.
Don't die on us, Lee. No, you're down to half health. Damage dealt reduced by 30%. Like, what's 30% of nothing?
And as long as they don't have another farm Valor for 3 weeks as part of the new Legend quest chain, I'll be quite happy. But it wasn't 3 weeks originally, was it? It was longer than that. Was it 6,000 Valor?
I don't know, I came in really late to this expansion, so...
It was a rather large amount of pointlessly waiting for 6 weeks for the next stage of the Legend quest.
Ah, yes.
Which was one of the main reasons why I let it up for quite some time to ever bother doing it again on an ult. I did it on my main character, avidly, trying to squeeze in every possible, bit of an advantage to get my cloak before everybody else. And then realised,
top the meters.
exactly.
Or in your case, being Shadow Priest, so that you're not bottoming the meters.
Exactly that, yeah, you've got to have a goal. Like I said,
So apparently, you've got a dispel in the new dungeons and everything.
Mm.
It's like Glyph of Shield Slam's useful again.
I always dispel.
Because you're a healer.
No, I'm a pally healer. That's all we did for 2 years after the game came
Yeah.
out. We didn't heal.
It's dispel, yeah.
We would just do dispel.
Raid.
Yeah, Craig remembers those times. It's like, oh, we need one pally for dispelling.
Hey, don't laugh. It's the only reason why I got onto raid groups at the start of this expansion. Is like, what do we need the Shadow Priest for? Oh yeah, mass dispel. So we brought like the initial progress on Thok. Can't do any DPS. In fact, you can do very little DPS on Thok, but it's another master spell.
Yeah, Master Spell's pretty good.
Although now you can just skip the bats.
Yeah, we thought gave us a bit of a headache because we were like, do we need any cooldowns?
Yeah, people get cocky and think, oh, we'll just keep going, keep on healing, keep on healing. Oh, hit 30 and the raid died.
Yeah, we had, what did we have? We had someone run the wrong way for the first fixate. So we lost a lot of time on that. Because everyone was so used to doing it that certain way,
Yeah.
they just messed
Even
up.
though it's actually not a problem for people who pay attention to this thing.
Well,
It's
that's it,
just
but-
like, oh, he's running the wrong way, I'll immediately adapt because it's
It's-
such an easy thing to do.
The problem is it's really hard for the tanks to position him properly. I just wanted to see if anyone else was going to interrupt that. But,
Yeah, because normally the ideal setup there is the tanks positioned at the side, and then like the healers, especially like the priests, you've got two groups standing either side, and they can use their directional heals on both groups, so it gets messy. But the thing is, on the transition phase, there's only two.
It's a wipe.
There's only two directions the guy's going to run. It's going to be towards the entrance or to the back of the room. Now, DPS should know basically.
you always
Get
run towards
out.
the back of the room first.
Even then, it's-
turn him.
Yeah, get out of the way of either of those directions if you're not a guy who's going to be running.
He's just,
Now-
like I said, an actual, honest to God ball ache to reposition.
Lee, you've just done that fight. This is why I was like pretty optimistic for the new content, because that was actually tough because people couldn't like pay attention to what was going on. We have one more fight in here, by the way.
Is the dog not here anymore?
You don't get that far. I don't know if it's still there or not, but anyway, you've got the gauntlet with the
Gauntlets,
dragon.
yeah.
And that's the last one as far as it, because we downed that one then, and I was looking back. We want the next one, and then it's like no, and I kind of did a bit of a loop
Yeah,
back
this
to the
is
group.
going to end badly. Yeah, because we just did the fight and there was a lot of people taking a lot of damage, and the
Just wanted to
healers
see what
just got
happened, yeah.
punted out into the distance.
Ah,
Heal me, bro.
there's certainly be tears, isn't there, at the beginning for the ones who have been handed their LFR.
Well, it was Wrath Babies they were originally called, weren't they?
Yeah. But the problem is Blizzard isn't aiming to
See, that was
keep
fine.
a small group happy. They're aiming to retain as many of their 7.5 million subscribers as they can. So if it is too hard for a significantly sizable group of Wrath Babies, they'll just nerf it. They'll say you've had it while it was difficult for a bit, right? We can now nerf it.
Pretty sure I didn't pull those.
Well, it's a 5-man. Nobody ever pays attention to who pulls.
I do. You pull it, you tank it. Unless you're the healer.
Yeah, but that's not how it's been done the last 6 months, right? So people have forgotten that, this content's actually meant to be challenging.
At the moment, you hit it with a load of damage, and it'll still wander over to the tank eventually.
I get enough vengeance.
Take your pants off.
Yeah, that was the funniest one, wasn't it? Prop Pally taking the pants off because they couldn't get any mana. One of my mates was like a really well geared prop pally. He was like, I gotta take my pants off. I'm like, you got a Kratos? I was like, nope, need the mana, can't do any damage. Or tanking with a two-hander.
Yeah,
and
because
taking the pants
he was dodging too much, wasn't
Yeah.
He was
Shouldn't
just
do that.
mitigating everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was passive unhittable at one point. I'm glad they got rid of that rubbish, like the passive uncrittable and passive unhittable. That was just annoying. I keep trying to whirlwind. It doesn't really work.
So we in a good place then, right now, so far as tanking? Because you've not really tanked much.
It feels the same. Apart from I can do stuff in Bladestorm. It's really weird because in Fury I can't do things in Bladestorm now. Like I don't have a shout I can do. And
Big change about tanking now is that the tanks aren't number one on the meters for half the fights. It's going to be tanks.
no,
Now.
2 million crits off shield slam. I am looking forward to Heroic Strike turning into Cleave though. That's quite cool.
Crystal of Insanity used to give you, was it 250 on all your stats, or 500? Yeah, now it does 57. So that gives you an idea of the nerf they've done to all the big numbers.
Yeah, they basically turned the game from Yu-Gi-Oh into Magic again. Going for a CCG quote there.
Yeah, because Yu-Gi-Oh, like a typical mob would have like 1400 attack. In Magic, they have like 3 attack. Same with Hearthstone, really, isn't it? But I love drawing Hearthstone parallels to all the World of Warcraft like guys now. You know, when you see like a Ragnaros and you're like, oh, you know what? We just need that big game hunter to one-shot him. You know, it's like, where is he?
That's it. Where was Nesingway when I was progressing through Fireland?
Yeah,
where were you?
Just brought him along, he'd have gone, none of that round here.
It's
Bang.
like, does he not just give him confidence? It's just like, look at my big gun.
I just think that he'd have
like,
taken
no, I'm not
those
doing it.
2 fire giants at the beginning. He'd have had both of them and a few of the other big guys in there.
So he just jumped down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it you giving me this bubble?
Commander Thorn,
Yeah.
it seems your troops.
I don't know, is it? I don't. Fortitude? Is that the Fortitude bubble? Yeah.
Eliminated healing.
I apologize
Ah,
for
okay.
this failure, Warlord Zayla. The Iron March will take care of these.
Look up and to your left. They're up there talking.
Iron March, kill
Fight
them,
me.
or I will
And now they're out. No, the hatchlings. Remember when people used to run in the gate and get trapped, Craig?
Yep.
Gate used to close behind them. It's like,
Isn't this
Many
fight
of
like, did
them
it
has
used to
ended.
nice.
pull the entire
prematurely.
instance as well?
Yeah. If you did this jump down here, it used to be that your pets wouldn't jump with you, and your pets would try and find a route through the dungeon to get to you, and they could.
They term Huntard, and that was why it was created.
Yeah, and they could get to you, but it just meant they had to run through the entire dungeon through a few locked doors, and the entire dungeon used to end up right here. It was hilarious. But the thing is, it wasn't just hunters who did it. Like anyone with a pet warlock would
But
do
you'd
it.
be you're getting down there, and it'd be like we're in combat.
It was hard.
And there is that dawning sensation when you look around and you can't see
Who didn't unsummon their pets?
Yeah, and you're going, oh no. And people go, it's fine. You're going, no, you really don't appreciate just how many mobs it's pulled. It's the entire instance.
Yeah. Yeah, I would just bubble Hearthstone at that point. Like, you can summon me back. I'm not taking the 20 gold repair bill.
That was the other thing, wasn't it? If you were a plate user back then, it was expensive.
Oh,
Tell me about it, yeah.
wow, yeah. Clothies, they had it easy.
Had it easy, yeah.
I will show you how a true orc deals with failure.
Saying that as a priest, that was 4 hours of raiding, pressing flash shield for 4 hours. Yeah, wasn't the most thrilling thing.
Yeah, I'd love for someone to stick an interrupt on that. Great. Where's my disrupting show, damn it?
It's like someone has to die in this fight every time because I've got to keep you up. By the way, if you look up, there's like, these little bats flying around, spitting.
Yeah, I can't do anything from it.
No, but this is why I had like high sort of hopes for the expansion, because people struggle on this fight and they've all got amazing gear, and that's what you want. You want people struggling again in 5-mans.
I mean, it feels like I'm getting hurt a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, and you've got really good gear. It's like this is
My tank gear's
tougher
not been optimised,
for
it's
you
skill.
to do than the raid,
The
isn't
funny thing
it?
is, it's like my tank gear isn't actually optimised. I might as well just be in DPS gear.
But it's still better than
Being in a cakewalk,
a 5-man.
But it's going down to having stuff to do again, isn't it? Whereas, in the current expansion, how many times would you ever
Did that
step
guy
in-
just really stand in that breath for that long?
There you go.
despite the fact the being the
Yeah, because they want to blame the healer for them dying. Why didn't you heal?
one who on dragon fighting don't stand at the front or the back. Yeah.
And there's someone else stood in the fire, so they die as well. There's smart people, aren't there? Just me and you.
DPS, innit?
Just me and you left.
Yeah, I'm just going to kill the dragon first.
Ow.
I can't stop him doing that. It's a mechanic.
Yeah, this is the last boss, by the way.
Still,
But you-
most of my cooldowns. So.
But you see how the slime comes on the floor and I move out of the way, and everyone else dies because I just can't heal them through that crap. Ow.
That's the scary thing, isn't it? For a lot of good players, it's second nature now to look out for mechanics. So the point being is, and these players have got to play this game a bit now. How have they got to this point and still decided that ignoring mechanics is the way to play a game? What's your way to teach people? Do you want them to become better players, or do you just want to make things so much easier that they ignore how you design the game?
I wonder if you still in melee, whether it'll still charge you.
I'm just trying to avoid these little flaming things.
Well, I'm not going to be
Starting to be
studying them.
annoying.
The room will probably be full of them in a minute.
Ah! Ow! Something. Oh, he knocked me back into the flames. Did you see that? That was hilarious.
So bad.
Oh dear.
I wonder if I can solo him.
Probably not.
I'll try. This video was 6 hours long.
Yeah, but you get an idea now that people can't be idiots, right? They can't just face roll their way through the content. Oh, and there's another one. Okay.
Oh, what do you think of the new release and run-in mechanics, Craig?
Oh, very nice. And the kind of it's nice now, convenient and bitter in some ways. I'm thinking, damn it, I used to run how long, but now it's as it should be really, which is death shouldn't be, it should be a penalty to have to run in. You just want to get back on with the game.
Yeah, do you remember level 70, Lee? Were you playing then?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember how, let's say you were doing the second dungeon
So
in Outlands? No, the dungeon, not raid dungeon.
Blood Furnace.
Yeah, how hard it was to try and find the entrance after you died.
Oh, yeah.
I always kept going. I used to find an entrance, go in, and go, "You are in the wrong entrance. You must go to Blood Furnace to get your corpse back." I was like, "What?" Yeah, Craig's like, "Yeah, I remember that as well."
And then when you were trying to fight a Magtheridon as well, that was a pain.
No, but Blood Furnace was the worst for finding the entrance after a death.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like Hellfire Ramparts and Shattered Halls were next to each other, then Blood Furnace was like round the corner and up
round the side of it took me, 2 months to work that out properly. Magtheridon was a problem finding it for the first time as well.
Well, that was it. Then they changed it, didn't they? That you could teleport there instantly, and it's like, okay, so no one's ever going to explore the world and learn where things are because they're just going to teleport to dungeon.
Yeah,
it's a combination of the two. You want people to get out into the world and explore these places and know where the dungeon is. Well, like I said, you don't want to have lose 2 people when you die to a wipe, and then know that at least 3 of the party can't find their way back to the dungeon. And then you're just hoping that at least one of you guys is the warlock that can find his own way, and then we can get a portal up.
I've got high threat. I've done nothing. Damn it! Stop picking on me.
It's the guy's Army of the Dead. Fucking up with the threat. Okay, the actual guy might actually need to.
How did you get this far?
Yeah, he's just tagging out Army of the Dead, Army of the Dead. That's
Oh,
what I'm saying.
yep. And there's the flame coming around. I think it's a really cool fight, this one, because, again, we have now learned that people are going to die on it.
It affects that.
Your friends will
That's another thing.
The
that
dragon
started
helps you.
This one, didn't they? They're bringing in this one, which is they're introducing raid mechanics to dungeon bosses. So the idea is that you will learn about the mechanics that you'll face later.
Oh,
in
that
the
got me when I was leveling up, when I first got Mr. Pandaria. It's like mindlessly grinding away, watching a movie. Something drops on the floor, ignore it because I'm leveling. I'm dead. What's this all about?
Yeah. It's like the little achievements in some of the dungeons where it's going raid to raid because you can now avoid the fire spinning around the room.
We did it.
And that. Oh, I tell you what. No loot off the final boss. So harsh. Right, well, we are done. Dungeon complete. But it's interesting, you know. I thought this made for a pretty cool video to talk about anyway, and we can do another video. I think we'll do another video once we come up with a good topic to talk about. Well, I think for the moment it feels like a nice place to wrap this up. So maybe last thoughts from you both on that actual dungeon we just done.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. Tanking's always been a bit next pack kind of thing, so I'd have probably enjoyed it a lot more as DPS and probably died because the tank couldn't threat, but yeah, it's cool. Ain't nice that it hurts.
What I found nice was the pacing was nice as well. I mean, originally that was a 15-man dungeon that took you the better part of an hour and a half, 2 hours to complete, and it's got a nice pace. You don't want a dungeon that's just boss, done.
It had some really horrible bits in that dungeon, like where the rogues would have to disarm the traps. Remember the smoke?
Oh,
and
it
played
like
a raid instead of a dungeon.
And that was, I'm saying it was a pain, and I've just gone through there trying to farm gear and stuff.
Yeah.
It slowed you down by like 90% into it or something, the movement speed. It was nasty. Yeah, it wasn't fun. And they're doing away with a lot of things that are not fun.
The new highlighting of like stuff that you need to click on is really good, even though I zoom out so far, I can't see it. Because I've used the macro command to disable view distance.
Yeah, so like basically 8 years ago, when the game was getting more and more popular, it's like they would put content in the game to try to get you to quit playing. And now, you know, subscription numbers are going down. They're putting content in the game to keep you in, aren't they? So it's like less annoying now, the content. It's like, please stay content, as opposed to let's try and make you quit by just giving you the most annoying thing possible to do. Like some of the grinding you had to do for bonuses.
Yeah, what was it? Some, even like just, you know, fishing for food or raiding and other like
the warlocks and their souls they had to harvest before every raid.
Why isn't your soul shard bag full?
Well, even like that dungeon there, you're having to farm an achievement key to even start that originally. You know, we'd have to go through all the other ones.
Chain, didn't
it? It's proven that they're using the right thing now, because look at Wildstar.
Tell me about Wildstar.
Well, they went, we're going to have 40-man raids.
Okay.
That you need to be 20-man raids to get into. And there's these massive achievement things. And everyone, okay, that's awesome. I didn't even reach max level, because I saw my friends who had reached max level grinding and grinding and grinding like there's some Korean. Because they love their grinding MMOs, don't they? So
yeah.
Sack Quest will just kill stuff. And so they've had to merge a lot of the servers into mega servers because people were just quitting for the first month and stuff. So
yeah, understandable.
Also, they did some quite naughty things by buffing raid bosses after people have killed them for the first time.
That's just being lazy. It's been artificially created the content by not creating content, but just by creating barriers.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, all their fights is a rotation of like 6 abilities that put stuff on the ground that you've got to avoid. And if one person messes up once, then you've got to start again.
Anyway, I think this is maybe all the discussion for our next video. But it seems a good place to wrap things up. And again, just remind everyone that we are playing on the EU server Kilrogg on the Horde side, so you're welcome to join us and just send an in-game mail to Ribbo, and I'll add you to the friends list. But from the three of us, it's ta-ta, I guess.
Good night.
Good night.